Hello, we're back, and we are in our second week of instruction on social awareness. Do you remember what social awareness is? Two words, social, so more than one person, usually a small or large group of people. Awareness, it's the second thing, our ability to assess and experience things around us and being aware of that. Last week, we talked about how we can have social awareness by feeling connected to people. We did that by reading The Invisible String, the book, and then we thought about someone we're connected to with an invisible string and why that person is important to us. Today, we're going to focus more on behaviors that help us and our social awareness, and also help those around us notice that we are aware and empathetic. I'll get to that in a minute, that big word, to others' needs. So today is more of like a behavioral lesson. I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to gain social awareness and experience improved outcomes in your social skills. Tip number 1. When you're talking to a person, whether that's an adult or a friend that's around your age, look and consider their nonverbal cues. A nonverbal cue is something that they're not saying. So it's anything that's not language, like their words. So, for example, look at their body. Is their body relaxed? If they're relaxed, more than likely they're feeling how you would feel when you're relaxed. How do we feel when we're relaxed? We're usually satisfied or happy. Is their body tense? Is their face kind of angry? Look at this picture of me here. Look at my nonverbal cues. Do I look like I'm ready to talk, or do I look like that I might need a break to kind of get myself back to a state of being calm? To me, it looks like I need a break. I need some time by myself so I can just approach whatever is going on with a little bit more like calmness and clarity. So nonverbal cues are someone's body language, okay? Consider if they have their arms crossed across their torso, or if someone has a frowny face or an angry face, okay? That means that person is struggling with something. At that point, we could ask them if we can help, or they may just need some time by themselves. So consider nonverbal cues. Number 2 for social awareness is what I like to call whole body listening. Now, when we were in the classroom, it was easy to teach whole body listening. We listen with our eyes by having our eyes on the speaker. We listen with our mouth by having a quiet mouth, and we listen with our ears. While we're away from our classrooms, learning in this capacity, much different than we're used to, and that's okay, we're being flexible, I invite you to practice whole body listening. When you're talking with your family members or the people that you're living with at home, consider using whole body listening skills. When our eyes are on the speaker, our ears are listening fully to what they're saying, and our mouths are patiently waiting for our turn, we begin to really hear what people are saying. I have noticed as time has gone on in our school closure, some of my friends that I work with have told me that it's gotten a little hard to be in our houses all the time. One way we can handle that is by being a more intentional listener. Rather than trying to do too much, look at our book while our friend, our brother, sister, mom, dad, aunt, uncle is talking to us. It gets our brain all jumbled. We're not fully attentive to the speaker. So like as if you're in your classroom and your teacher is speaking to you, try to practice that whole body listening with those in your home. I'm confident that when we use whole body listening, we begin to gain social awareness. We begin to see those nonverbal cues that I talked about a moment ago. And we begin to be more present in the conversations we have with our family members. Tip number 3, practicing empathy. My kindergarten through 3rd grade students, empathy is a complex thing. It's pretty developed. So I'm going to describe something to you that I think is a good way to understand empathy. When you're looking at someone's nonverbal cues and you're being a whole body listener, for you to practice empathy is considering how that person might feel. If you're noticing that someone is relaxed in their nonverbal cues and you're tuned into what they're speaking about, and your best guess is that they're calm and satisfied, you are practicing empathy. You can then invite yourself into the conversation and add your ideas, and that is a good time to be part of that conversation. Now, let's go back to the nonverbal cues and maybe of someone that looked a little bit like me, remember? Someone that might have a more tense body and their facial expression does not look relaxed. And when you're being a whole body listener to that person, you are getting the impression that the tone of voice that they're using and the words that are coming out of their mouth indicate that they are not feeling very good. They might be mad, they might be stressed or sad. When you try your best to recognize how that person might feel, that is a good first step at empathy. Now, as an elementary school student, especially kindergarten through 3rd grade, you can't necessarily solve that problem for the person if they're having a hard time. But could you be a friend? Absolutely. You can be a friend to your brother, your sister, your cousin. You can be a friend to an adult in the house. You can be nice, right? You can offer to help. You might not be able to solve their problem, but by practicing empathy, by noticing how they feel and seeing if there's something you can do to help, is you being socially aware. So, the 3 tips. Tune into nonverbal cues. Look at people's body language, which ties into the 2nd tip, which is be a whole body listener. And the 3rd tip is practice empathy. Practice trying to understand how other people are feeling. Those 3 tips tie into our last lesson on social awareness, because when we use those 3 behaviors in our day-to-day interactions with people, we begin to see our social world around us in a better form. We begin to see how others are feeling and how others respond to how we interact. So I encourage you to do that this week. So kindergarten through 3rd grade friends, you have no handout to complete today. You may send me a message to let me know what you thought of the video if you like. But I don't expect you to, there's no handout. I do want you to practice those 3 tips. Okay, I will put a notice in your seesaw so that you have those. Okay, and you can submit them back to me as proof that you've seen the video. I know some of you like to be able to submit work back. Most importantly is that you tune into your ability to be socially aware, looking at nonverbal cues, being a whole body listener, practicing empathy. I'm trying to imagine how other people feel. Okay, friends, thank you for this lesson. I hope you have a great week.